Welcome back to Sub-Zero Hero, except it's September time now and the sub-zero temperatures have disappeared for a while. And we are performing a little bit better than even I had dared to hope after the Kettering debacle. I was worried this could be another series that was set up for failure. But things are going actually pretty well. We have played 9 games now. We lost the first one in our last episode, but we've not lost since. In fact, we've won 7 and drawn just 1. Wait for it. We're top of the table. Now, we're in such good form that, of course, we've come back for a game that we will surely lose today. But I'm thinking we might just be starting to get our feet under the table in an FM21 series. Okay, so this is the run of form that's got us surprisingly to the top of the table, and well, it's been going rather well since that first episode where we lost narrowly to Hod, who turned out to be quite a good team there near the top of the table. We had a couple of friendlies where we kept clean sheets, and we managed to take that into our league campaign. We beat Senja 5-0 with Grunvoll getting a hat-trick, and by the way, this is the Norwegian 3rd Division's Andy Carroll. He is absolutely electric at this level. A majestic target man who takes a glorious penalty, who scored goals from corners, by the way. Remember, at Kettering, we scored 0 goals from corners in 2 years. So that has been pretty good. Then we had 3 pretty narrow wins, but one of them was against Moss, who've won the Norwegian title in their history, so they're a big club. We beat Kavik Holden 1-0 as well. This young player came off the bench and scored, and he's training on quite nicely. So he is looking like he could be ready for more starts next season. We beat Eidsvoll Turn 1-0 as well, the guy that scored the goal. Well, he's currently out injured. This is the guy that's got 2 Norwegian caps, Thomas Kind Bendiksen, and we cannot get him to agree a new contract. He will at least negotiate one now, but he wants an awful lot of money, and our finances are looking pretty bleak at the moment. So we're struggling to keep him beyond the end of the season, but he's out for the next 6 weeks potentially, so we're going to have to learn to do without him at the end of this season, and we might not have him next season. We beat Kjelsås 2-1, but they scored their goal pretty late on, so we were looking pretty comfortable in that game. A 0-0 draw with Brattvåg was not great, but kept a clean sheet again before a bit of a narrow win against Fløya. But again, another 3 points on the board before what was probably our best performance of the season, perhaps aside from that Senja game. In the last one, we beat Skeid, who are, again, another historic name in Norwegian football. They've won the top flight on 1 occasion. They've won the Norwegian Cup 9 times. We beat them pretty comfortably, and it was this man Grunvoll who scored both of the goals for us, and he is now, I think, tied as one of the leading scorers in the division, and he's looking pretty good. Shall we show you the table? I mean, it's tight up there. There's only 2 points separating us from 3rd, and the team in 3rd, by the way, Fredrikstad, are another really big team in Norwegian football. After Rosenborg, they are the team that's won the Norwegian title the most times, so what they're doing down in the 3rd tier, I'm not really sure, but they loom ominously on our radar, and we look like we're playing them in the final day of the regular season. Because remember, because of COVID, this is a short season, only 13 games, but then the league splits and the top 7 carry on playing. They play each other once more to create 19 games in total, an extra 6. You've got to get in the top 7 to qualify for that. Currently, Vålerenga's second team are on 11 points, and we've got double that. So I'm pretty confident we're getting those extra 6 games, which from a finances point of view is good because they are dropping like a stone. The only reason we are still in the positive figures is because somebody came in and signed my physio, and we got £40,000 compensation for that. So I was actually quite pleased. I've bought in a new physio on an amateur contract. That's the only reason we are not in the minus figures. The thing that's perhaps allowed us to win so many games is that I've been micromanaging each of them. I've been watching them on the longest highlights available. I've been micromanaging all the training, both individual training and team training as well, and really eking out the results. And these are the boys that we're going to send out to try and do it for us today. So Mikkelsen has been playing pretty nicely in goal. Our backup goalie has just started to get unhappy. We've said that we're going to try and sort out a loan move for him because we'd like to keep him because we don't know what's going to come through that youth intake yet. The fullbacks, we're weakest in because we're playing a left winger at left back, so that's perhaps not ideal. He wants to be playing further forward. We're playing a central midfielder at right back. That's not ideal either. But centre back, we've looked good. The Vibe has not just weighed in with a goal from a corner himself, but has looked pretty imperious at the back there. And the guy alongside him is training on very nicely. His pace is starting to improve. His all-round physicals are getting better. And importantly, for a team that is playing quite cautiously, he's got marking of 15 now and positioning of 15. That is useful. We've got a pretty decent midfield. This Pedersen playing as an attacking winger. He is quick enough to win a lot of corners that we're slinging into Grunwald. The annoying thing is that the guy normally taking the corners is Thomas Kind-Bendixen. He's going to be out for at least another 3 weeks, but could be a lot longer than that given his age. So we might not be as threatening from set pieces as we normally are, but we're going to make a little change on the bench. We're going to get out there for the kickoff and see whether we can keep this good form going. Here we go then. I've taken it off the comprehensive highlights to be merciful, but I'm keeping it on extended because I still want to try and micromanage the game as we go. We're the home team, but I'm still going to drop straight away down to a cautious mentality. I have expertly, by the way, decided to come back for a game where both teams are playing in the same colours. They seem reluctant to switch to their away strips in Norway. I've spotted it in another game as well. Not ideal. We're going to have to watch carefully. We're in the blue shirts with the red shorts, not the red shirts with the blue shorts. And we're on the attack. No, we're not. We're defending a counter. So, we've won the ball back. We're not asking any of our defenders really to do too much. We ask the fullbacks to get forward to the halfway line and launch the ball in occasionally. But that's it. Oh, he's come close, but he was offside. That was a tough angle. Maybe this Leesvoll up front is the one player who I thought we might get a little bit more out of than we have so far. I thought he was going to be one of our strongest. He's not really performed too well so far. I think he's played in 8 games and he's got 2 goals. We could do with him just catching fire towards the end of the season. By the way, do not let the table fool you. We're not for 1 second thinking about getting promoted this season. That could be the worst thing to happen to us getting promoted. But we are thinking that we want to qualify for this extra batch of games as we hack the ball clear just to prop up the finances. The way the youth intakes work, by the way, in Norway, is you get your youth take in, I think, in February time, which is actually just towards the start of pre-season of your campaign. So we're going to get ours just before the start of next season, as Mikkelsen does well. And I've noticed we're not doing very well on the old XG. I don't think we've had a shot yet. So what I would normally do is to go more attacking to get more shots. But what I've just done is actually go more defensive to try and soak up the pressure a little better. And it's not worked because they've taken the lead before I could react. Olawale Tanimowo has slotted them home, and I thought this was avoidable because we had a defender there that didn't jump and a goalkeeper there that ran past the ball. And I think we've been match engined a little bit there. And now we've got some digging out to do because we've not had a shot and we've not played well at all. And that was always going to be the case, wasn't it? You're on a good run. You think, let's come back, show them an episode. And you're 2-0 down inside the first half. And you are scratching around already and making yourself look pretty foolish. What do I blame? Coming off the comprehensive highlights. I might have been able to squeeze that move to a defensive mentality out a little bit quicker if I hadn't been yakking away to you lot. And now we're 2-0 down. Well, that means that we're dropping to second place and all the teams around us have got a game in hand. And now suddenly things are not looking quite as rosy in the Tromsdalen garden, are they? So we're going into half-time, and at least that makes our half-time team talk a little bit easier, because we are going to point the finger and we're going to say, well, no, we're not. We're going to thrash the arms and say, stop letting yourselves down and sort it out. There we go. That's a little bit better. Who's playing the worst of the players out there? Leesfall again is not playing well. Maybe we'll try a little tweak of role for him. But if we come back and salvage anything from this game, I think it's going to be a surprise to you as much as me, because we're not about chasing games. We're about keeping them at 0-0 for as long as possible and then trying to nick them. Or about scoring a goal early and then trying to cling on. So we're going to throw them a quick berate out there. Oh, the pass doesn't find its man though, and now they're countering on us once more. And the boys, because we've switched to a positive mentality, are a bit further forward than we would normally be. And we are struggling, aren't we? Look at this, not a single shot on target. The berate has helped with the old body language, but it's not helped with the performance. Can we get in? No. Andreasen. Oh, he stung the keeper's palms. But again, when you're shooting from the edge of the 18-yard box and that's your best chance, you're in a little bit of trouble, aren't you? We're still in the highlight, though. We've got Bratton, who's come into midfield. And Andreasen, who again is a central midfielder playing out there on the right side of midfield. So we've got lots of square pegs in round holes because of injuries. We are at least playing a lot better now. But we're not scored and we're not really in the game, are we? We've got just over 20 minutes left. Pedersen could get this across though, and Leesfall has got a goal. Well, at least we've picked up his performance a little bit. I think we played him as a poacher in the last episode, but since then we'd switched him to an advanced forward. And the team's played well. He's not taken any of his chances. We pop him back in as a poacher for this second half. And he's got a little bit more involved. All right, we need to pause and we need to have a little think tactically here, don't we? We're on a positive mentality. I think we might even switch to a 4-2-4 and try and get ourselves a point. We're going to take Bratton off. We're going to switch these boys around. And we're going to go out there in a 4-2-4 and see if we can get an extra goal. That has done nothing for our highlights. In fact, we're going to get a little shout out there. We're going to demand more. We're also going to push these guys to wing backs, which they don't really like, but we can't buy a performance out of any of our fullbacks, so we'll try it. And we need something in this final 5 minutes, don't we? In fact, we're even going to do what we never do, and we're going up to an attacking mentality. Oh, Loveland's given the ball away. Play that guy in central midfield and he's fine. Pop him over to right back where he's quite capable of playing. And he does not enjoy himself. And that is a bit of a close shave. That would have put the game to bed. We've still got 5 minutes though. We're still in it. We need a highlight. We need something. We're going to go with a final shout. We're going to berate. Oh, we can't even get the final shouts going. We don't have it in the locker. And I think this is the full-time highlight, isn't it? God, if we steal something from this, it's probably not been deserved. We don't, and we've not played well. And that is our first defeat since the opening day of the season. That means that we can definitely point the finger. No, we're going to thrash the arms and say, far from pleased. We're going to get the boys back in for some training. And we're going to have to regroup and go again because I want to finish as high up this table as possible. Make sure that we qualify for those additional 6 games. And see if we can just end the season strongly. I don't think we're going to be able to topple the likes of Fredrikstad. I think they're going to go on and win the league. But I'd like us to be there and thereabout. And performances like that, well, they were a little bit listless. So I'm going to go back behind the scenes, have a little look at some of those player roles, and see if we can come back for our next episode, which will either be the last one of the regular season, or if it looks like we're qualifying for those extra games comfortably, I might even play a couple of those before we come back and see you again, and see just where we've got Tromsdalen in the table as we try and become a Sub-Zero hero.